A hard freeze is on the way to southern Wisconsin. When you can expect the coldest night, and when will we see temperatures back up into the 70s?
Plus, Democratic vice presidential nominee Tim Walz visiting Wisconsin today. We're live at the event as Democrats conduct a campaigning blitz in the state. And later, we're not the only ones feeling the dip in temperatures. What bird experts are saying about this year's fall migration. We welcome you to News 3 Now at 6. Well, after weeks of warmer than usual weather, it appears the fall-like conditions are upon us. Chillier temperatures now making their way through, and with them a good chance of some frost and freeze over the next couple of days. For more on those temperatures, let's check your first warn forecast and Chief Meteorologist Alex Harrington. Alex?
Hey, Eric. Hey, southern Wisconsin. I even have my Channel 3 jacket on. Before I left the house today, I thought, ooh, I'm missing something in the jacket for sure. It feels like fall out here across southern Wisconsin. We even have some fall showers across the area right now. Some of those heavier showers are to the east of Beaver Dam over towards Juneau. We've had a few showers north and east of Madison. This weekend, we even had a little light snow reported in Baraboo. Can't rule out a flurry or two tonight as these showers continue to rotate through the area. But it's really the cold temperatures and the frosty conditions that we're expecting the next couple of nights that are the main weather story. We've dipped to 47 now in Madison. We're on our way down. Our Upland Hills sky cam here showing those fall-like skies out there, those cloudy conditions across southern Wisconsin. Dipping down to 40 degrees when you join us again for the 10 o'clock newscast. Jacob will be here. Temperatures right now, 46 in the Dalles, 50 still hanging on to 50 in Janesville, 49 over to the west in Boscobel in southwestern Wisconsin. And we should do a little tour with our Skycam as we continue to build our network so we can show you the weather across all of southern Wisconsin, which will be incredibly helpful during snowstorms and also severe weather. Got a fall-like scene in our Upland Hills Skycam in Dodgeville with those gray skies. Platteville looking fall-like. The harvest is occurring across southern Wisconsin. We got fall-like colors building in as well, and we have frost advisories to the west over portions of southwestern Wisconsin tonight. That's the best chance for a frost tonight. Hard freeze likely over southwestern Wisconsin Tuesday night going on into Wednesday. And we have a freeze watch over south central Wisconsin that gets upgraded to a freeze warning. We could be looking at a hard freeze tomorrow night. Just how cold will the thermometers read Wednesday morning? And when will those thermometers read into the lower 70s? The temperature swing is part of our weather story, too, in a few minutes.
Alex, thank you. And stay up to date on the weather with our First Warn Forecast weather app. Hourly forecasts, road conditions, and the latest radar. You can download it for free in your phone's app store. Just search WISC weather. And the DNR requiring people in 13 counties now to get a burn permit due to dry conditions. All of Columbia, Sauk, Richland, Marquette, and Green Lake counties are under this requirement. Parts of Dane, Iowa, Crawford, and Grant counties are also impacted. People in those areas will need an annual DNR permit for burning in a barrel, a debris pile, and in grass and wooded areas unless the ground is snow covered. We're not quite there yet. Permits are not needed for campfires. We're less than a month away now from the election, and Democrats are doubling down on efforts to secure the so-called blue wall states. Today, Tim Walz in Eau Claire, also in Green Bay, and First Lady Dr. Jill Biden here in Madison for the Harris campaign. As the candidates are coming through, our political reporter Will Keneally is live at the Jill Biden event. He joins us now live with the very latest. Will?
Yeah, Eric, that's right. We just heard from some local leaders like the Madison mayor, Dane County Executive, Attorney General Josh Kaul as well. Now, we're waiting for Jill Biden about 15 minutes out or so, so we expect to see her from her soon. But as you mentioned, we caught up with VP candidate Tim Walz between stops here in Wisconsin earlier today. Now, he spoke about how he plans to win the Midwest, as a Minnesota governor there. But he also talked about unifying the Democratic Party. Now, this April here in Wisconsin, close to 50,000 Wisconsinites voted against Joe Biden in the Democratic primary, largely as a protest vote. How do you capture that kind of pro-Palestinian vote on the Democratic side there?
Yeah, we just in Minnesota had a large group of folks, of Muslim voters, endorse the campaign. They're speaking for concerns that they have, and that's fine. But I think an understanding is this is a choice between Donald Trump's reckless policies that our allies don't trust him. Dictators love him because he wants to be one.
Now you can see our full interview up online right now at channel3000.com. Again, we're about 15 minutes away from seeing First Lady Jill Biden here in Madison. We'll have a full recap for you coming up tonight at 10. But for now, reporting on Madison's west side, Will Keneally, News 3 Now.
Will, thank you. The Trump campaign releasing a statement on the Walz visit today saying in part, quote, The Harris-Walz team is floundering, offering no real plan for how to address the top concerns hardworking Wisconsinites are facing, end quote. Meanwhile, the Trump campaign does not have any planned stops in Wisconsin for at least at this point this week. Vice President Kamala Harris set to visit Wisconsin Thursday. She'll be stopping in Milwaukee, also La Crosse and Green Bay. This will be her 6th visit to the state since becoming the Democratic nominee. Vice President Harris also unveiling new proposals targeting black men. The plan aims to provide black men with the tools to achieve financial freedom. According to the campaign, black entrepreneurs and others would get loans that are fully forgivable up to $20,000 to start a business. Those loans would be provided through a new partnership between the Small Business Administration and some lenders and banks. The deadline for online and mail voter registration is fast approaching. Voter registration is slightly down from this time 4 years ago. As of the first of the month, Wisconsin has over 3.5 million registered voters. We have 28,000 fewer registered voters from the same time 4 years ago. Dane County currently with over 390,000 registered voters as of October 1st. Only down, though, 500 registered voters from the same time 4 years ago. Now, the last day to register to vote online and by mail is Wednesday. You can still register to vote in person, whether during early voting, which starts next Tuesday, or actually on Election Day. Well, today marks 4 years since a murder at Devil's Lake State Park. Authorities have yet to identify a suspect. Despite hundreds of tips and interviews, the case remains a mystery. It was on this day, 2020, a hiker found the body of 24-year-old John Schmutzer. Now, authorities believe the killer blindsided him in a random attack. In 2021, investigators told News 3 Now more than a dozen witnesses all reported seeing the same man in the area at the time of the murder. Now, that man is still believed to be on the loose. The Sauk County Sheriff's Office still looking for information on the case. If you have any information, you're asked to call the Crime Stoppers line. Excuse me, that number on your screen, 888-847-7285. Now, if you've given information before and have not heard back, you are asked to call the detectives on this case, and their numbers are also right there on your screen. Well, you may have felt the dip in temperatures over the weekend, and so too have many of Wisconsin's birds, which are en route to warmer areas of the U.S. News 3 Now's Kyle Pozorski spoke with bird experts today about the busy fall migration.
Fall is here, and that means it's a great time to head outside and enjoy nature at parks like this before snow starts to come down this winter. But it's also an indication to our feathered friends that they need to head south to escape the cold. According to tracking website Birdcast, more than 519,000 birds crossed Dane County alone Sunday night into Monday morning.
About 3/4 of the birds that breed in Wisconsin migrate, so it's a big deal.
Stan Temple, a professor emeritus in conservation at UW, tells News 3 Now Wisconsin continues to see what is considered peak migration in southern Wisconsin.
During the month of October is when there's a lot of movement going on. Some birds are leaving Wisconsin to head for more southerly places for the winter. Other birds are coming to Wisconsin from further north and will be spending the winter with us.
He says migration is critical for the birds that breed here as frost, snow, and frozen lakes become commonplace during the winter months, making it nearly impossible for some species to survive.
They've got to get it right.
However, Bill Volkert, a former naturalist and educator for the Wisconsin DNR, says migration this fall is still on track despite the later fall.
While we're noticing a lot of other things changing with the late fall season, bird migration for most birds is still on schedule. Those that can afford to linger will certainly stay longer.
In Madison, Kyle Pozorski, News 3 Now.
And if you're interested in seeking out some of the birds during migration season, Volkert recommends checking out marshlands, lakes, and rivers. It's in those spots where you'll find many birds, some using them as staging areas ahead of their nighttime migration. Well, the Coats for Kids campaign needs volunteers for distribution later this month. It'll take place October 25th, 9 to 6 at the Boys and Girls Clubs of Dane County in Fitchburg, Madison, and also Sun Prairie. Volunteers can sign up to help by emailing the Boys and Girls Clubs of Dane County Volunteer Coordinator, and we have a link to that email. Just go to our website, channel3000.com. Since 1986 now, area residents have stepped up to donate nearly 350,000 coats to Dane County families in need for our Coats for Kids campaign. Holiday planners, listen up. The U.S. Postal Service announcing holiday shipping cutoff dates this year for delivery by Christmas Day in the contiguous United States. The USPS recommends that packages are sent no later than December 21st. That's for Priority Mail Express service, which is faster, usually costs a little more. Less expensive options like First-class mail and ground service have to go out by December 18th. The cutoff for ground service is December 16th. You can find all the holiday mailing and shipping dates at USPS.com. Coming up on News 3 Now at 6, celebrating the people who lived in America before Christopher Columbus's arrival. Plus, we head out to Sauk County to find out what makes some apple trees there historic and how you can help support them.
You're watching News 3 Now at 6, brought to you by Gruber Law Offices.
We all share the same roads, but when an accident happens, we don't always share the same consequences. Gruber Law Offices has been winning for people injured in truck accidents for more than 35 years. One call, that's all.
He murdered a father of 3, sentenced to life in prison. Kamala Harris pushed to use tax dollars to pay for his sex change.
I made sure that they changed the policy so that every transgender inmate would have access.
It sounds insane because it is insane. Kamala was the first to help pay for a prisoner's sex change.
The power that I had, I used it in a way that was about pushing for the movement, frankly, and the agenda.
Kamala's agenda is they, them, not you.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
I'm Tammy Baldwin, and I approve this message.
I am totally opposed to abortion.
You heard him.
I am totally opposed to abortion.
What would Eric Hovde do in the Senate? Mitch McConnell and extremists would gain a majority. The power to ban abortion nationwide. No exceptions for rape or incest. Criminal penalties for doctors. More extreme anti-abortion judges on the courts.
I am totally opposed to abortion.
Eric Hovde, what's wrong with this guy?
I'm Joan Balwig, and here at the shop, we have solutions, both big and small. And that's why I fought in Madison for historically large increases for our fire, police, and EMS, and made sure that our small businesses had the permits that they needed to operate. I delivered millions for ag and rural road funding and created the one-day fishing license. I brought both sides together to make sure that our kids can both read and write. And those are both really big things, but you get the idea.
The final sprint to Election Day is on, and News 3 Now this morning is focused on the races and the policies that matter to you, the voter.
We're taking a look at both sides of the issues and where the candidates stand so you can cast your vote with confidence.
3 for the people, only on News 3 Now. You're watching News 3 Now at 6.
Welcome back. Today marks Indigenous Peoples Day around the U.S., also known as Columbus Day. It recognizes contributions of those who lived here before Columbus claimed to have discovered it. In 2021, President Biden officially signed a proclamation that acknowledged Western exploration's devastating effects on Native Americans. Since then, more than 100 cities have replaced Columbus Day altogether. In the 608, we're helping celebrate historic apple trees in Sauk Prairie. The lands of the former Badger Army ammo plant, originally territory of the Ho-Chunk Nation, were settled by Sauk Prairie farmers. That was back in the 1800s. In early 1942, more than 70 farm families were displaced to build the ammo plant. And now it's gone, but the land is being reclaimed in various ways. Volunteers with the Sauk Prairie Conservation Alliance are propagating historic apple trees that survived on the Badger Army ammo plant lands. Some of these historic trees have been transplanted to the Sauk Prairie Hospital campus.
This community, like every community, has difficult times in its past, but this is a simple way of healing those historic wounds. Apples are also good for you.
Now, the Sauk Prairie Healthcare Foundation says this planting was a thank you for their supporters. A tree is a symbol of life, the apple a symbol of health, so it's appropriate that the foundation support the effort. To learn more about how you can support the cause, just go to the story linked at channel3000.com. And still ahead, a sign that summer is coming to a close when the Wisconsin Union says it plans to take away the sunburst chairs. Plus, we head out to a Mineral Point farm that's been around for more than 100 years, how the family continues their legacy. And are these cold temps here to stay? Alex returns with the answer, his complete forecast when we come back.
Billionaire banker Eric Hovde has a plan for Social Security.
Do you favor either raising the retirement age or cutting benefits?
I favor both.
Raising the retirement age?
You have to start changing the retirement age.
Hovde wants to raise the retirement age as high as 72. And Hovde just proposed cutting Social Security by 28%, costing the average beneficiary more than $6,000 a year. Eric Hovde, what's wrong with this guy?
I'm Tammy Baldwin, and I approve this message.
Building that middle class will be a defining goal of my presidency. Compare that to Trump. He fights for himself and his billionaire friends. He intends to enact a national sales tax, the Trump tax, that would raise prices on middle-class families by $4,000 a year. Instead of a tax hike, we will pass a middle-class tax cut that will benefit more than 100 million Americans.
MFPAC is responsible for the content of this ad.
It seems like everyone in Washington is either too far left or too far right. I'm Rebecca Cook, and like most folks in Wisconsin, I'm somewhere in the middle. I'll stand up to Democrats to fight for a secure border and stop wasteful spending. I'll stand up to extremists like Derek Van Orden, who wants to ban all abortions with no exceptions. Like you, I'm fed up and ready for change. I approve this message because it's time that we sent one of us to Congress.
Nobody wants to put a new roof over their head. It's too expensive. And if they can extend the life of that roof and get 5 more years or 10 more years, it's a no-brainer.
What RoofMax does is it helps people in that they don't have to spend that $15,000, $20,000 on a new roof. They can spend pennies on the dollar.
The RoofMax product was a small percentage of cost of replacing a roof.
This is a great financial decision for us as a community.
He murdered a father of 3, sentenced to life in prison. Kamala Harris pushed to use tax dollars to pay for his sex change.
I made sure that they changed the policy so that every transgender inmate would have access.
It sounds insane because it is insane. Kamala was the first to help pay for a prisoner's sex change.
The power that I had, I used it in a way that was about pushing for the movement, frankly, and the agenda.
Kamala's agenda is they, them, not you.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
You're watching News 3 Now at 6.
We're meeting a family tonight whose cattle and grain farm has stood since the 1800s. Our Merrill Hubbard tells us what it means for them to see their legacy last through generations of hard work.
Out here in Mineral Point, 800 acres of this land have stayed in the White family farm for 6 generations. And now we're meeting the 7th generation destined to take it over.
All right, we'll take some slabs. It's pretty rewarding to be able to pass the knowledge down.
Kirk White has grown up on the farm for the past 26 years, working alongside his dad as the 6th generation to take over the family business.
He's taught me everything I know, going from mechanic work to field operation, to cattle working, to vaccinations, everything.
Kirk knows from his father that this is not a job that offers breaks.
Your cattle works year round. That's nonstop, 100%.
But there may be more helping hands soon. Kirk and his wife have 3 boys, and Bentley and Brantley are already racing to the challenge.
I don't have to push anything on them. If they want to come up to the farm, they're more than welcome to come up and ride in a tractor, ride in the combine, help fence around the buildings.
Kirk's wife, Elizabeth, has been documenting her son's excitement for farming.
Like the first time we took him on a combine, I can still remember what he looked like his face. He was only 6 months, but he's just looking around.
Learning how to manage chores has given their sons a greater understanding of what it means to work hands-on.
You don't just go to the store and buy Cheerios. It's the process behind it, and it all starts from hard work.
Plus, they found a competitive spirit to keep the farm extra fun.
Buy more better.
You are a good farmer.
Though it'll take at least another 15 years to tell, it looks like the White family farm has a promising future.
It's pretty rewarding that they want to keep coming up here and doing what me and my father do. It is important to keep this world going.
Reporting in Mineral Point, Merrill Hubbard, News 3 Now.
Well, you only have 2 weeks to use the sunburst chairs at the Union Terrace before they go back into storage. The union says it plans to remove the chairs and tables October 28th. Now, that date could change based on several factors, including staffing. Each year, the union welcomes about 1 million people to the terrace. The Memorial Union Terrace opened for the 2024 season back on April 17th. Well, take a look at this. Here's some beautiful fall foliage. This is in northern Wisconsin on the Busky Bay in Iron River, Wisconsin. The fall colors at their peak in that part of the state right now. That's in line with the projection from the Wisconsin Fall Color Report. The fall-like temps are here for a bit. Here's Alex again, a complete look at the forecast.
Yeah, Eric, we were mentioning last week, too, that this cool weather that we're going to have here over the next couple of days may actually help out with some of the vivid colors that we see over the course of the next couple of weeks. As you just mentioned, our fall color report peaking to the north over northern Wisconsin mid-October. That's right now in central Wisconsin. Our peak is nearing as well as we head from the mid part of October towards the later part of October. We have some really nice viewing weather in the forecast, too, and feeling like fall. Frost the next few nights, highs in the 50s through Wednesday. Back up to the 70s. Can you believe that? The swing I will show you in just a couple moments as part of the 3 things you need to get out of our forecast. A few showers out there tonight, especially east of Beaver Dam over towards Juneau. Might even have a clap or 2 of thunder here, looking at some of the yellows and some of the reds here. An isolated shower or 2 scattered off towards the east of Madison throughout tonight, and we can't rule out the possibility as well as our temperatures cool down into the lower 40s and then upper 40s right now into the 30s this evening, that we could see a little bit of flurry activity mixing in with a few of these showers. No accumulation is expected, and those better chances for any showers will be off towards the east towards Lake Michigan. Madison points to the west, a little less of a chance. Planning your evening tonight, not going to be in the 60s as I go out for my walk here after the 6 o'clock show. We'll be in the 40s. I'll be bundled up, relatively speaking, for this time of year as I get used to the temperatures getting this chilly. 10 o'clock temperatures right around 40 degrees. We have a frost advisory for portions of southwestern Wisconsin through Tuesday morning, 8 a.m. Then that turns into a freeze warning Tuesday night. We're keeping an eye on a freeze watch here over south central Wisconsin. Dells, Madison, Mineral Point, Monroe, and Janesville could see a hard freeze as well. Waking up to mid-30s over portions of southwestern Wisconsin, where there's a little bit more persistent way of those showers and clouds a little warmer towards Lake Michigan. The mercury, the thermometer, all you're going to get on Tuesday, upper 40s to right around 50. So jacket weather again. I'll be wearing my Channel 3 jacket tomorrow. Tomorrow night, you might want a jacket that's even a bit thicker if you have to be outside, as we also work into Wednesday morning with temperatures as cool as the upper 20s. We could do mid-20s, no problem, over portions of the Wisconsin River Valley and areas that are outlying communities outside of Madison. Those areas over southwest Wisconsin and the Wisconsin River Valley have a tendency to cool down a little bit more. Then the swing. We go from fall-like temperatures right back up to temperatures into the upper 60s, lower 70s over the course of this weekend. And I also want to make note, too, here, folks, as we were mentioning earlier in the newscast, as we move into the rest of this week, the low humidity values, increasing dry fuels, those temperatures warming back up, slim rain chances. We have an elevated fire risk across southern Wisconsin, but enjoy the 70s again this weekend. That'll be nice for looking at those pretty fall colors as we stay warm through at least Sunday, and another cold front coming through next Tuesday before we return to fall-like weather during the middle to later part of next week. We'll be back in just a couple moments.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
My name is Bill. I am retired. I'm a Marine Corps veteran, and I live here in Wisconsin. I am not a political person, but Eric Hovde doesn't understand how important Social Security and Medicare are around here. I'm on Social Security, and Hovde said he absolutely supported cuts to Social Security and Medicare. Imagine working longer, paying into the system, and then poof, you're paying your bills with less. He knows it. Cutting Social Security and Medicare will cost us. He just doesn't care.
WIN Senate is responsible for the content of this message.
You've got this, just like Associated Bank's got you with $50 overdraft grace zone. So when you have to make a purchase, or 7, you can be sure we're looking out for you, so you can look out for him. You've got this with Associated Bank.
Brian Stiles said he's proud of his extreme record. So why is he lying about it? Stiles said he was proud to be part of a group pushing to gut Social Security and Medicare, that he proudly supports abortion bans. And Brian Stiles said he's proud to be backed by extremists pushing a total ban nationwide. Peter Barca's backed by police, firefighters, and unions because Peter puts Wisconsin first, no matter the party, and that's something to be proud of.
I'm Peter Barca, and I approve this message.
It's a great time to have RG Heating and Air Conditioning check your home's furnace system for safety and efficiency. RG services all brands and installs quality Trane equipment to keep your home running smooth year-round. Call RG Heating and AC today.
Are undocumented immigrants that are the least likely to commit a crime.
Meet Edwin Ramos. This illegal immigrant murdered 3 Americans. An MS-13 gang member, Ramos was arrested for a gun crime. But as DA, Kamala didn't prosecute him. Months later, Ramos murdered a man and his 2 sons in cold blood.
Are undocumented immigrants that are the least likely to commit a crime.
Preserve America PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
I'm Tammy Baldwin, and I approve this message.
I am totally opposed to abortion.
You heard him.
I am totally opposed to abortion.
What would Eric Hovde do in the Senate? Mitch McConnell and extremists would gain a majority. The power to ban abortion nationwide. No exceptions for rape or incest. Criminal penalties for doctors. More extreme anti-abortion judges on the courts.
I am totally opposed to abortion.
Eric Hovde, what's wrong with this guy?
You're watching News 3 Now at 6.
Well, most people, of course, know Henry Winkler as a TV star rising to fame, playing the Fonz on Happy Days. And the legendary actor also won an Emmy for playing acting coach Gene Cousineau on the HBO series Barry. But he's also a best-selling author of nearly 40 books, and his latest is called Detective Duck, The Case of the Missing Tadpole. On CBS Mornings, Winkler described the unique writing process with co-author Lynn Oliver.
So we figured out Lynn types, I talk, then she types, I wait. Then she reads it back to me, and we argue over every word.
I love that.
Yeah. And pretty soon we have, months later, a book.
He was always the Fonz to me when I was younger and he was younger. Now he's the coach from The Waterboy more. But this is Henry Winkler's second children's book series about the crime-solving duck and animals living around Dogwood Pond. And finally, tomorrow, a national day that's as cheesy as it gets because it's National Cheese Curd Day. The salty, deep-fried version of the snack started, of course, in Wisconsin, the dairy state. The nuggets of white or yellow cheddar cheese are battered and deep-fried. They're a popular fare food, but are also making their way into restaurants as a French fry alternative these days, and also a big part of poutine, which also includes French fries and brown gravy. We all love a good cheese curd here in Wisconsin. And Alex is back. Final check of the forecast.
Great forecast for cheese curds. Hot cheese curds, beautiful weather for that because our fall-like temperatures with frost conditions. Tonight we got frost advisory, southwestern Wisconsin, freeze warnings for southwestern Wisconsin tomorrow night. We're under a freeze watch here over south central Wisconsin. Not going to be surprised to see that upgraded to a freeze warning. So conditions, again, across southern Wisconsin, frosty Tuesday night, Wednesday, maybe even going into Thursday morning as well before we warm right back up into the 70s this upcoming weekend. Back to almost summer-like.
I like that. I like that.
Me too.
Never a bad forecast for cheese curds.
No.
Thanks for joining us, folks. Have a great evening. We'll see you back here tonight for News 3 Now at 10.